Welcome to the Angel Mystic podcast, where spiritually open minds come together to explore the wonders of angels, spiritual connections, and the art of manifesting, plus weekly angelic insights as I pull cards for the week ahead. Hosted by me, Amanda Tooke, the Angel Mystic, your spiritual midwife, to help you on your journey to a fulfilling and happy life, as seen on ITV, Channel 4, and writer for Fate and Fortune magazine. My hope is this podcast is your go-to resource for navigating life with more ease and flow. Whether you're a beginner on the spiritual path or a seasoned practitioner, join us as we unlock the secrets of connection and harness the power of manifestation to create the life you desire. Please rate, review, share and subscribe each episode as we embark on the Angel Mystic podcast. And don't forget to head over to show notes to find all the useful links to many free, amazing resources. Now let's delve in. Welcome to the Angel Mystic podcast. This is episode 140 and it's a manifesting mashup. I'm answering lots of common questions that, I hear all the time, and people have posted in my free community group. If you're not in there, it's Abundance Manifesting over on Facebook. So we are just going to delve straight in. Like I say, I'm just answering some really common things that I hear all the time that, do you know what, we just need to clear up for everyone's benefit. And the first question I'm going for is, can I manifest my ex back? Here's what I'm going to say about this, because there is a lot of people wanting to do that. And I touched briefly on this episode. I think it was in maybe 133. I touched briefly on this subject, 133. And I want to expand on it here, because when someone is asking, how do I manifest my ex back? The first thing I'm going to say is you absolutely can. I have done that. Did it turn out really well? No, it didn't. Did it need closure? Yes, it did. But what I will say is that you're only wanting them back for the reasons that you are almost projecting onto it. And what we really need to think about is you want them or someone better, a better match. And you're really wanting the feelings that you had with that person. That's what you're wanting. It isn't specifically the person, it's how that person made you feel, how you felt about them. And could there be another version of that available to you in the universe? Because if they've left your life for a reason, was there some healing that needed to be done? So my quick answer is yes, you can. But I really think that we need to look at the bigger picture, and we need to look at what we are meant to be healing from within that situation. Because every difficult situation, and breakups are difficult, has growth, it has healing, it has learning attached to it. So that sort of is where I would say you need to start. Look at the healing and the learning that happens. And remembering that manifesting is not about forcing a specific person to behave in a certain way. It really is about alignment. And if you are energetically still attached to that person, still waiting, still needing, that is not a good place to be. So even more reason to do the healing that's attached to that. Sometimes the highest outcome is that person not returning back into your life. And sometimes that is us returning to ourselves, doing the inner work, working on our self-worth, allowing ourselves to love ourselves as we are, and healing perhaps the history that has been repeated because that does happen. We often relive things time and time again in different relationships because we haven't done the healing. And if an ex does come back into your life, here's what I would say is that, you should never feel that you need to shrink. You should never feel that you need to prove your value or chase. It should feel really good and it should feel really solid and it should feel, grounded and mutual and aligned. And if it's not, we need to really look at that. Is it a lesson repeating? So I hope that helps those people that are asking that question within themselves. Can I manifest my ex back? Well, hell yes, you can. But is that for your highest good? That is a question you need to reflect on. So, like I say, this episode today is all about where I'm answering really common questions, things that I hear coming up or just time and time again. And it's a way of clearing the energetic clutter that some of us might have, the overthinking, the overcomplicating that we're so good at doing. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is energetic boundaries. And you may have heard the phrase, I sometimes use it, not my monkey, not my circus. And this does relate to energetic boundaries because when you're working with manifestation, there is so many people trying to control all the different outcomes. And it's not our job to control. It's our job only to decide what we want and believe it is possible and responsible, be really responsible for our own energy, our thoughts, our feelings. That's alignment. Oh, and also our actions, because that is alignment. You're not responsible for managing anything else for anyone else. That's down to them. But so often we get drawn into other people's situations. And it might be that it is a loved one that we are getting drawn into their problems. And that is actually one, not helping them, and two, draining your own manifesting power. Because if you're constantly reacting to situations that are nothing to do with you, you are just depleting your energy. And you're actually probably building the negative energy for that person that you care desperately about. So remember, not my monkey, not my circus. And that's a reminder to come back into your own lane because that's where your power is. That's where you can focus. That's where you can, um, you know, sort your energy out because that's all you can control is your own life and how you feel. So, do you need to set some energetic boundaries? Are you getting dragged into things you don't need to get dragged into? The next thing I'm going to talk about is leaving a legacy. Sometimes we think that we want to leave a nice legacy for our family. And that might be that you're thinking that's a nest egg or something like that. It's a lump of money, it's a property. But I think you can leave more of a legacy that has got more of an impact than any of that. And I know from personal experience that manifesting has a ripple effect. My kids have turned out into awesome manifestors. And that can be something that you can leave your loved ones with. If you master your own manifesting and empower other people around you to manifest theirs, you are leaving a beautiful legacy. You are empowering them to think for themselves, to feel like they can control their own life, that they can work with the universal laws and they can trust their own guidance and not have to rely on somebody fixing it or waiting for a rescue from someone. They can sort out their own stuff. And the other way I think that we can leave a legacy is clearing ancestral lines. So this is, inherited patterns around maybe money, fear, limitations in some way. There's often shame attached to it. And we can live in that survival mode, particularly with money. You see it, don't you? Generations have the same sort of, style of life because that's what's passed down to them. But it doesn't have to be like that. We can clear those ancestral lines for future generations too. And that is by working on your limiting beliefs so you're not passing them on. So, where perhaps in your life do you feel there is a lack that perhaps you could work on for future generations? Where are there some beliefs that you think they're really not serving us in this day and age? This needs to be cleared. Because if you are leaving a legacy, I hope it is one that empowers other people, one that helps other people. And definitely you can do that. And that starts by perhaps you asking different questions of yourself. You know, who would you be if you believed money was safe to receive? Who would you, or what would you choose if debt wasn't your identity? When you start asking better quality questions, that's where the shift starts to change. So, my advice is be the light of example. Change things, clear, old patterns, work on yourself, and let future generations also reap the benefits of that. And finally, I am going to talk about the big one, the getting out of debt one, the one that I hear a lot and the one that I resonate so deeply with because I was in that position too. I have spoke a little bit about this in other episodes, but I think this is probably one of the most emotionally loaded topics when it comes to manifesting. Debt has so much shame attached to it, and it can feel like it's a moral issue. But debt is not a reflection of your worth or your capability. It is a financial situation, and it is one that can change. And if you're in debt, if you're struggling, manifestation alone and just hoping and praying is not enough. You need to think about doing some deeper work. You need to think about doing some alignment because those old emotions of shame, of panic that make you spiral are actually what's keeping you stuck. That's contractive energy. There's only two types of energy, contractive and expansive. So it's keeping you contracted, it's blocking you, it's leaving you stuck. But when you start to move into clarity around that and get clear on perhaps what the actual number is that you want to manifest in terms of income, what the actual options are that are, realistically available for you, you will find what the next realistic step is. And from a manifesting perspective, you start to change your identity from someone who's feeling stuck in debt and focusing, on the negative, rather than moving into someone who is actively moving into more stability with financial matters. Now, that might mean you have to face things that you've been avoiding. It might mean that you have decisions to make that you've been delaying. It also might mean that you have to allow some unexpected support. And allowing that in is your ability to receive. And here's how that'll have a knock-on effect. So often people say, oh, I really want some help with, and then somebody will offer the help and they'll turn it down. No, no, I'm okay, thanks. How good is your ability to receive? Because this is where the work starts. This is where the opportunities start to arise. This is where the income streams start to expand and you start to consider things you've never considered before. Manifestation is not a separate place to reality. When you're manifesting, you're changing your reality to one that you want. You're doing it consciously. It's not happening by chance. So it might be that you need again to set some boundaries, that you need to look at your money patterns, you look at, how debt's working out for you. What is your money story? In the Manifesting Manual, the book behind me here, if you're watching on video, there is a really good money exercise that you can do in there. But you've got to look at where your energy's going. Got to look at what you're aligned to and what you actually want to create. And you've got to focus and believe that you can change your reality. And part of that is doing gratitude work. Now, I have spoke about this before, but the way I got out of debt was learning to love my debt. Yeah, at first it used to feel like, oh no, the credit card bills. Oh no, got to pay those every month. And then I learned that actually that was a place of resistance and that was never going to get rid of the issues that I had. So I had to start being grateful and thankful for that facility of debt and what it provided me with. Whether that was putting food on the table or whether that was a holiday, I had to be grateful for that. So loving your debt makes it easier to work with because there's less resistance with it. And I used to ask myself every morning, do I have enough money for today? And if I did, I would not allow myself to worry about tomorrow. We have to live in the now, and we have to know that we are safe in the now. And that vibration that we create when we do that manifests a very different future rather than one if you're sitting and you're worrying. And do not come at me saying, oh my goodness, I'm a born worrier, because everybody learned to worry. There isn't one single baby that came into this world that has worried. They've learned to worry. They were not born with that talent of worrying. They learned it. It's learned behavior. And oh, no, you can't get my words out. As you've learned it, you can unlearn it. So I want to leave you with a final thought, and that is that, well, before we do angelic insights, that is that you don't have to fix everything today. Whatever you're struggling with, you don't have to have it all figured out at once. And an affirmation I really like to use, which sort of bridges the gap with all of that, is that each day I'm getting clear on what I need to do. Each day I'm sorting out my money, or each day I'm getting clear on what I want in a relationship. But if you say each day I'm getting, you are bridging the gap from where you are now to where you want to be. So don't try and figure it all out at once, but do try and notice where your energy's going, what you're putting your focus on, because that's what you're going to get more of. So there is a place where you can do more of this work, and that is in Abundance Club. Abundance Club is my private membership. It's like a little manifesting family. It is so good. It's been around for so long. And in there, you've got master classes, there's challenges, there's so much support. It's ridiculous. There's live trainings each month. Go and check it out in show notes why you can, why we are accepting new members. Honestly, it's less than a fancy coffee a day, and you can learn all you need to know about manifesting and a little bit of spiritual development, connecting with your angels. So let's know, oh no, not know, let's decide what, I can't get me, what is wrong with me? Let's, oh, we've got a card already. Let's see what the cards want us to know. That is what I'm trying to say. I feel like, I don't know, what was happening then? It was sort of trying to come through and it sort of, oh, I don't know, it was all muddled. And then the card of accepting dropped out. So that's the card we're going with for Monday. Monday is the accepting card. It is all about accepting yourself exactly where you are right now. Like owning it, going, do you know what? This is me. I might have some things I still need to work out because we're all work in progress. but I'm doing it. I'm doing the work. I'm doing all right. And give myself a pat on the back. I'm all right where I am right now. I'm sorting it out. And I feel like this card is about being really present with your now. And a great way to do that is with gratitude. So get your gratitude on Monday because that's what the cards are talking about. Tuesday is your intuition. So we've done Monday, we've got gratitude, we're in very much in the now. Now we need to use our intuition to find our way forward. Our intuition delivers those moments of like little light bulbs, like I need to go and do this, or I need to look over there. That's what you need to follow is the intuition. Wednesday, funnily enough, is boundaries. We've already spoke about this a couple of times within this pod today. But yes, more boundaries are needed. When you set those boundaries, other things are going to open up for you. You watch this space. Thursday is the honest card. So are you being really honest with yourself? Are you really doing the work that you need to do to get yourself out of the situation that you are in? You know, this manifesting mashup today, we've been looking at manifesting your ex back. We've been looking about not getting involved in other people's stuff. We've been looking at legacy. We've been looking at um, leaving the world in a better place than we found it. And we've also been talking about getting out of debt. So are you being really honest with yourself about any of those subjects? Is there some work for you to do? Friday, it's the romance card. So I feel you need to fall in love with life again because it feels like it just hasn't really been hitting the mark. So, what can you do so you can fall in love again with the life that you've got right now without wanting to change it too much? It's, with manifestation, we so often think, I'll be happy when I've changed my job, swapped my car, whatever it is. But actually, what about just choosing to be happy right now? What can you do to make that happen? As we move into the weekend, we've got the worry card. So you're going to have to keep a careful eye on where your thoughts are going because the worry card will kill your manifesting. So if you find yourself worrying, remember Amanda said, I've learned to worry and I can unlearn as well because that's the message from the angels. Sunday, nice little reminder, your angel is always with you. You are never on your own. So don't forget to ask for the help that you need. Go and check out show notes, see what wonderful things are in there for you. Maybe have a look at the manifesting manual if you want to get better at manifesting. If you want my help, come into Abundance Club. I would love to help you with your manifesting. Remember, your angel is just an ask away. I will see you next time. Bye for now. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and got value from it. If so, please rate, review, subscribe, and share it with your friends. It really does help in more ways than you realise. You can find out more good stuff between episodes. Just search The Angel Mystic on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You'll find me there. And I would love to connect with you more over in my free group on Facebook. Check out all the links in the show notes.